Hello class. So today we will see flame retardants. For some applications of plastic such as in packaging where disposability has to be considered, it may be desirable for plastic material to burn without any difficulty. So the packaging material after usage we want to decompose it. The best way is to burn it. So therefore that way it will be disposable. But here we need the polymer to burn easily. But there are some applications where we don't want the polymer to burn because the application is as such we want to avoid the burning. Therefore we use flame retardant. As the name suggests, flame and retardant. Retardant is something which prevents something from happening. So here it is flame. So it prevents from burning. There is however a number of uses such as in building, furniture and fitting. So building in furniture and fitting made up of plastic, we don't want them to burn. Therefore we add flame retardants. Applications where products from plastic material should have an adequate degree of fire resistance. While Willist is a formal name for while. While such an adequate resistance is often shown by products from unplasticized PVC, phenolic resin and aminoplastic. So the flame resistance is shown from products like unplasticized PVC, phenolic resin and aminoplastic. Notably the aliphatic or polyolefins, polystyrene, polyurethanes are deficient. But it is not shown, flame retardancy is not shown by aliphatic polyolefins, polystyrene and polyurethanes. So this has led to the progressively increase in the use of flame retardant. Therefore the polymers which does not have a self capability of flame retardancy, so we have to add flame retardant to them. While the development of flame retardant has in the past been largely based on the systematic trial and error basis, future development will depend more and more on the fuller understanding of the processes of polymer combustion. For what was said, it will be seen that flame retardant might be capable of acting at several stages in the process and that a combination of retardants might be employed. Different component acting at different stage. In industrial practice, flame retardants may be divided into two classes. So flame retardants reduce the burning capacity of a polymer, and industrially it is divided into two classes. Number one is reactive components and additives. The reactives are used primarily in thermosetting plastics and are special intermediates which are inserted into the polymer structure during cross-linking. Used largely with polyester, epoxide and polyurethane. Such materials are usually highly halogenated or are phosphorus compounds. So what are flame retardants? Reactive ones, halogenated or are phosphorus compound. While such reactives do not lead to the problems of leaching, leaching means, what is leaching? Leaching means draining, means coming out of something. Then migration and volatility, which can occur with additives. They do not suffer from certain disadvantage. Firstly, it is often difficult to incorporate enough bromine, chlorine and phosphorus into the structure to give sufficient flame retardants. So the reactives are tough to use because you cannot add appropriate quantity of phosphorus needed for flame retardancy in the polymer. Secondly, such systems are often lacking in flexibility, and thirdly, such highly specialized chemical produced in small quantities tend to be expensive. So reactive flame retardants are expensive. For this reason, the bulk of flame retardants are of the additive type. So there are disadvantages. That's why mostly additive type of flame retardants is used. And this will be dealt below. Reactivities specific to a given class of polymer will be considered later. Flame retardants appears to function one or more of the four mechanisms. So these four mechanisms of flame retardants are important. Number one, they are chemically interfere with flame propagation mechanism. Suppose a polymer is burning, So the mechanism of burning, the flame retardant interferes with that mechanism chemically. They may produce large volume of incombustible gases which dilute the air supply. So flame retardant produce so many gases which are not combustible, and therefore air supply is minimum, and hence the burning is reduced. They may react, decompose, or change the state endothermically. So they just change the state endothermically, means they absorb the heat. Therefore, also the flame is stopped. They may form as impervious fire resistant coating, preventing access of oxygen to the polymer. So they form a coating for the polymer, and therefore the oxygen cannot enter, and no oxygen, therefore no burning. In volume terms, the most important class of fire retardants are the phosphates. Okay, tritotyl phosphate, triazisyl phosphate are widely used plasticizers, which are more or less maintain the flame retarding characteristics of PVC. Unlike the phthalates, which reduce the flame retardance of PVC products. Better results are, however, sometimes obtained using halophosphates, such as trichloroethyl phosphate, particularly when used in combination. Conjunction means together with antimony oxide, triphenylstibine, or antimony oxychloride. Halogen containing compounds are also of importance. Chlorinated paraffins have found wide use in PVC and in polyesters, and like the halophosphates are most effective in combination with antimony oxide. Bromine compound tend to be more powerful than chlorine compound, and a range of aromatic bromine containing compound including tribromotoluene and pentabromophenol ether is available. Such halogen based systems appear to function through diluting effect of HCl, HBr, or bromine. The role of antimony oxide is not entirely understood. On its own, it is a rather weak fire retardant, although it appears to function by all the mechanisms listed above. It is, however, synergistic with phosphorus. Together to produce a combined effect is synergistic, and halogen compounds are consequently widely used. Other oxides are sometimes used, such as alternatives or partial replacement for antimony oxide. These include titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, and molybdenic oxide. Zinc borate has also been used. Where the polymer does not have to be subjected to a high processing temperature, aluminum trihydrate may be used. On a very large area, of use for this material is in the polyester laminating resin. An inorganic material which has been particularly successful as a flame retardant in nylon is perhaps surprisingly red phosphorus. This material conferred a V0 rating for the Underwriters Laboratory UL 94 specification, even with glass filled grades, which are not self extinguishing like unfilled nylons. Although the moldings were dark in color, there was little loss in toughness or electrical insulation. Also of interest are salts of melamine. In the nylons, these can be used with bright colors. They do not adversely affect electrical properties. They do, however, decompose at 320 degrees Celsius. Similar materials are very important in giving flame retardant properties to polyurethane foams. Many methods have been evolved in recent years for assessing flame retardants and the combustion characteristics of plastics, and these have been subject to comprehensive review. The use of fire retardant in polymers have become more complicated with the realization that more deaths are probably caused by smoke and toxic combustion products than by the fire itself. So whenever a plastic is burning, the smoke is produced and as harmful gases are released, and they are the causes of death than the fire itself. The suppression of a fire by the use of flame retardants may well result in smoldering. What is smoldering? Production of smoke. Let me see. Just a minute. To burn slowly without a flame, and production of smoke rather than complete combustion with little smoke evolution. Furthermore, while complete combustion of organic material leads to formation of simple molecules like carbon dioxide, water, nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, and hydrogen halides, incomplete combustion leads to production of more complex and noxious material. Noxious means poisonous, as well as the simple structured but highly poisonous hydrogen cyanide and carbon monoxide. There has also been considerable concern at the presence of toxic and corrosive halogen containing fire degradation products in confined spaces such as submarines, subways, and aircraft. So here we don't want such a substance which can produce noxious effect. So therefore, toxic and corrosive halogen containing fire degradation products are not used in confined spaces like aircrafts and submarines and mines and subways. This is the beginning to restrict the use of some chlorine containing polymers, in spite of the fact they have good flame retardant properties. For this and other reasons, several of the halogen containing flame retardants are no longer used with some polymer. One possible solution to this problem is to make greater use of intumescent material, which when heated swells up and screen the combustible material from fire and oxygen. So intumescent material is a material which swells up, and it, because of the swelling there is a distance and oxygen is not supplied to the places which are burning, and hence the flame is reduced. Another approach is to try to develop polymers like phenolic resins that on burning yield a hard ablative char, which also function as shielding the underlying combustible material. So this is basically thermal shielding mechanism. So you don't have to remember so much for flame retardants, but still you have to remember a lot of things like the mechanism, what are the flame retardants, what products are in the flame retardant, what chemicals are there, which polymers are there, and why certain flame retardants are not used in certain conditions like submarines, and why some flame retardants are used. So you have to give basic idea. If there is a question, write a short note on flame retardant. You have to write all that. Okay, thank you.